Hello, everybody, and welcome to Listening for Clarity and Connection. In these conversations, Beth Hughes and I will share stories of how we have both used clean language to improve listening, to manage difficult conversations, and to get and give better quality attention to others. So one of us will share our story, and then the other person will ask some clean questions to find out more. And at the end, we'll talk about the difference using clean has made to us. So Beth, go ahead and introduce yourself before we start.
Hi, my name is Beth Hughes and I'm a trained clean facilitator, and I use clean language across all my work, working with leaders and employees.
Nice. Thank you, Beth. And my name is Jacqueline Surin. I'm a specialist clean language facilitator and coach. I live in Malaysia and I train and facilitate internationally. So for today, we wanted to ask all of you this question. Have you ever been at a doctor's appointment and felt like the doctor was making assumptions about your condition? Now, Beth is going to tell us a story about how she used just 2 clean questions to clarify those assumptions. Beth, tell us what happened at that doctor's appointment.
The doctor was asking me about my symptoms, and one of my symptoms was that I felt jittery. And when I said that I felt jittery, she wrote down anxious. And I looked at it and I thought, jittery's not anxious. That's not right. So I said, that's not right what you've written there. It's not anxious. And she said, well, what is it then? But I didn't know, because I'm not a doctor, so I didn't have the vocabulary to really answer that question. So I had to run it through my system and think, okay, that was a poor question. What question would I have asked in that situation? And I would have asked, so what kind of jittery? So I asked myself that. I thought, okay, so what kind of jittery is that? And that allowed me to think a little bit more about, oh, right, so it's nothing to do with what's going on up here. There's nothing going on in my central nervous system. It's a feeling in my fingers, a little bit like when you've not eaten. And then I thought, I can probably give her a bit more information. So I asked myself the question, and is there anything else about that I can tell her? So I started to tell her exactly how it physically felt in my fingers and my legs and things. So just by running those 2 questions through my head, I was able to give her a lot more information.
And what difference did asking those 2 questions make for you and for the doctor?
Well, for the doctor, it allowed her to see that she had made a bit of an assumption and that she was going down the wrong diagnostic path. So that was quite important for her. For me, I mean, it could have been the difference between having different medication, which the condition, although it's not a serious thing, it can be serious if it's not treated. So, potentially could have had life-threatening consequences 10 years, 15 years down the line, So it's very important, this stuff, isn't it, that we get this right.
That's right. And it was just those 2 questions, right? What kind of, and is there anything else? And have you ever had any other kinds of experiences where just asking those 2 questions can make a difference in terms of clarifying the assumptions that we make or other people make?
Yeah, so when I first started working with people one-to-one, I was a careers advisor. And when I first learnt about clean, I remember it was this client coming into me and saying, I want a career. And I remember my head popping up with career and what I felt a career meant. And it was like, oh, yes, I know what a career is. It's all these things. But I just remembered my clean training that I was on at the time and thought, no, I'm going to get rid of all that. I'm just going to ask her, what kind of career? And by asking her what kind of career, she was able to give me lots of information that didn't bear any relation to what I'd come up with in my head.
Imagine that. Okay, and then what happened?
So because then I was like, oh, okay, so your version of career is completely different to my version of career. I was curious then, and I wanted to know more. And I said, and is there anything else about career when it's all of those things? I repeated back some of her words.
Okay.
And she was able to tell me more stuff that was completely different to my version of career. And that's when I went, oh, wow, this stuff's really good.
Yeah. And what difference did it make for you as the coach when you asked just those two questions? And you repeated back her words, didn't you, before asking those questions?
The difference it made for me was that I was able to see that I had attended to what I really listened to her and attended to what she really, really wanted. And I wasn't running through any of my filters, which we do when we work one-to-one with people. Everybody out there will be doing it. It's just natural. And also she felt really, really heard because I wasn't making assumptions and I was genuinely listening and being curious about her responses.
Yeah, and that's quite a skill, isn't it? To kind of put aside our filters and our own assumptions. And just by asking those two clean questions, what kind of, and is there anything else, as we repeat back somebody else's exact words, can give us so much more accurate information about what the person is experiencing. So we'd love to hear from the rest of you about what you think about these two clean questions. Leave us a comment or a question, and we'll be really, really happy to hear from you. Thanks so much, Beth, for your story today.
Thank you.